Nityanandam. Hi, this is Ma Nitya Ovyananda. Today I'm going to talk about the Sanyas series, and I wanted to talk about fear and insecurity. See, one of the most things that people are afraid of, what are those things? Mostly fear of the unknown, fear of death, what is going to happen to you tomorrow, the next day, in the next hour. All of those things that you're afraid to lose, let's say. And they put you in a little bit of an insecurity. And so we live with that our whole life. There's always an underlying fear in many cases of what's going to happen next. But when you're a sannyasi, under the guidance of His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, you're always put in insecurity. Because what is happening is He's breaking our fears this way. And the difference between you and I, in this case, is I'm being guided and led meticulously by the hand, so to speak, by Swamiji. I know that the situations that I'm in that may put me into fear or insecurity are orchestrated by Him so that I can come out of whatever fear and insecurity that I've been living with my whole life, or even Janmas, lifetimes. And in many cases, I've proven, I know this is a truth and a fact, this is what happens. So many times there's things that I might be resistant to, things that I may not like, things that might put me into fear. And He puts me into those situations so that I can come out of that fear and live more and more in a powerful space. If we never get tested in those things, we'll always be hiding in the closet, so to speak, hiding under the bed, and never getting out there and getting rid of these fears we have, these insecurities, these things that hold us back from being who we truly are. So if you never are presented with these things, you'll always be living in that space, and you'll live this life out, and you'll collect even more fears. And then in the next birth, unfortunately, again, you will have all these accumulated fears with you. These fears block us from blossoming, block us from expanding, and block us from connecting with the source, the divine being that's inside us, the superconscious space, Sadashivatva. So I just wanted to say that Sanyas, the difference is, I really have Him as a guide. I really sometimes feel when I have that experience where the mind stills and I'm looking around me, I see how all these little actions that are going on, this group, that group, the group I'm in, how it's a play, how I feel like it's a play and things are moving in a certain way. And you understand more and more how you are different people and they're reflecting you back. Everybody's just a mirror, Swamiji explains. And you can see somebody's anger or somebody's emotion or somebody's complaint is also a reflection of what's inside you. Maybe not in all cases, but you start to know and understand that it is something being reflected that's inside you. Why? So that you can look in and find out about it. That's what seeking's about. What are you made of? And what is keeping you from taking that jump, that next step into something more? And the beauty is, with life, outside of Swamiji, we don't know what's going to happen when. We don't really anyway have control over anything. We might think we do. We might say, oh, it's my life. I can do what I want. I can get up when I want. I can eat what I want. Non-veg, veg, go out and party, this, that, this. There's no guidelines. And I can do what I want, and that's my freedom. My freedom to choose is my freedom. And people may say, because you're a sannyasi, you're being controlled by what somebody else tells you to do. And it's so not like that. And it's like such a funny thing in a way, because you might feel like that at first. Because here you think your freedom's being taken away, but it's not. And I always know that Swamiji's guiding. Even if I get into some, thing, I know He's guiding us. So the point is to hold on to that and to hold on to Him. Because He's there inside us and He's guiding us. Because He wants everybody to be in that powerful space. He wants everybody to be enlightened. That's what He's here for. So anyway, I wanted to explain a little more about that insecurity thing, about that freedom thing. I am completely open and wanting him to guide me, even if I have that resistance, because I'm so used to having that resistance my entire life. We're so used to saying no and only picking what we want to do. But when we just surrender and relax and let the universe take us for a ride, we'll see what a more interesting scenic ride it is than the same old road we've been taking. So if you've never been married, and especially if you're a youth wondering what to do as a career, just consider Sanyas as a lifestyle. It is such a beautiful space to be guided by a divine being. And you cannot go wrong. You just cannot go wrong when you're being led by him. Because he knows what is going on, not only in your life, but in the universe itself. So it's much better to me to be guided by an enlightened being than an unconscious being just for a paycheck. Meaning versus non-meaning. You choose, you decide what you want. But at least start out with coming to meet Swamiji at the Inner Awakening program. InnerAwakening.org, you can sign up and find out when the next program is. And learn what it's like to be around such a being. Learn what it's like to really have freedom. Learn what it means to be free. And that is when you're in his space and in the process with him. When you're in that unclutched space where all your thoughts drop away and only the connection between you and him is there. That blissful space during the meditations and initiations. It is really the best place to be in, and you will understand and get a glimpse of that, of what I'm talking about. It's so nice. So go to innerawakening.org and sign up. And if there's any questions, feel free. Don't ever hesitate to put them in the comments. I'll be glad to help you out. Thanks again so much for watching. Nityananda.